Okay, so I want to go ahead and get this finished so I can show you guys how to close the top. This is what that stitch ends up looking like. I really like it. It's a really pretty stitch. If you use a thicker yarn, it won't be there won't be as much gap in it. Or like I said, if you have a thinner yarn, I would double up. I did not double up on this one just because I wanted to make a quick tutorial. But it's a really pretty end stitch. I really like the way it turns out. It's super easy to do. Okay, so I want to move on to how to close off the top with a ponytail holder or a hair tie. It's just your regular elastic coated hair tie. And I went ahead and cut off my working yarn and left a tail. And then I have threaded my needle and I wrapped the yarn just for length around the loom twice just to make sure that I have enough yarn for finishing off the top. So we're going to start with the first peg that you are working on, and it's right here. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take the needle and go through the loop and pull the needle through. Hang on, I got too much yarn going on here. One of my ends is not short enough. Okay. We'll pull this back. Okay, so basically you have a short end here and then your longer end here. So you're just going to go from the bottom through the loop and out the top. And then you're going to take your rubber band and you're going to go once through your rubber band so that you have a single, I don't know if you can see this, just a single loop over the rubber band. And I'm going to pull some more yarn so I have more working yarn. You want to kind of give yourself enough yarn on your working end and then just leave like a smaller tail here. It'll make it a lot easier. So when you come off of the rubber band, then you're going to move on to your second peg and you're going to come up through the bottom and pull your yarn through. And then you're going to do the same thing with the rubber band. So come up through the bottom and loop over once. So once you have 3, so let's do one more. Go up through the bottom of the peg with your yarn. Pull it through. Not too tight, otherwise it makes a mess. So once you have like 3 pegs, then you can let go of this one. So you can take this one off, and you can take the second one off as well. But just make sure and leave one on and remember where you were here. So I need to go up and through the rubber band, and then up and through the stitch. And pull it through, and then bring your rubber band over. Then go up and through the rubber band. And then up and through the next stitch. Super easy. It's just hard to remember where you've left off. I always try to leave off on a peg when I'm removing the other one, so I remember where I'm at. So then you go back and you lift all of this off. And that way your rubber band moves with you. The other thing, if you want, you can tie your end string here. Just wrap it around so it stays in place. but you're going to be making the middle super tight, so eventually it'll have to come with you. Okay, so I ended on the peg, so now I'm going to come up and through the rubber band. And then move on to the next peg. And up and through here. And then up and through the rubber band. Another thing is if you keep your working pegs, if you slide it up, it'll help you remember when you come back to it after you've lifted them off, which one you're on next. So go back and lift off this one and this one, and then come back to your peg. And then your rubber band. I keep getting caught in the loom. And then your peg. And your rubber band. And then we're going to go lift this one off. Lift the next one off. So you'll see it'll start to come with you now. And so basically you have one loop around the top. Okay, so let's finish this off. So let's go up through your peg, around the rubber band. And you can keep going. You'll feel the rubber band start to get tight because it needs to move with you. And then that's when you have to start releasing them off the loom. This is a smaller loom, so I can do a couple more before I release it. So up through here, and then through the rubber band. Next one, up through the peg, and then through the rubber band. Oh, now see, I can't go to the next peg, so I need to come back here and start lifting it off. So you want to just take the yarn off the peg. And then always leave one though, one or two that you've already done so that you don't mess it up. Where's my yarn? And if you accidentally loop the rubber band twice, it's no big deal. Just gives you another loop. Just make sure you loop every peg. That's the most important. If you don't loop every peg, then your whole hat will come undone. So peg, rubber band, peg, rubber band, peg, rubber band. Oh, no, it's too tight. Let's try and take these off. Okay, so peg, rubber band, peg, rubber band. Oops, sorry. Alright, I'm going to lift these off. Go peg. And rubber band. So you're going through a peg and then you're going around the rubber band. And then back through a peg and then around the rubber band. Pull these off. And go through a peg, around the rubber band, through the peg, around the rubber band, through the peg, around the rubber band, through the peg. It's easier when they're bigger hats. Through the peg, around the rubber band, and then through the peg, through the peg, and around the rubber band one more time. Okay, so then you're going to go back carefully and pull off the rest of them. Okay, so now you're going to find your working yarn of where you just looped through. So I have the one with my needle, and then I have this one. Oh, I missed a loom. When you have a bigger hat, it fills it in a lot better. Since this hat is so small, this rubber band is really not the best example. My other loom has another project on it though, so I couldn't show you on that one. But anyway, you get this really cool, it'll fill in the more yarn you have in a regular size hat, and then you have this elastic. Now I'm holding on to the yarn that I started with, the yarn with the needle, and my ending working yarn. So I'm going to take this and just tie all three into a knot just for safety. And then I'm going to turn it inside out so that I can work on tucking in the yarn. So on a bigger hat, it was a lot easier to just weave this through. With thicker yarn, it's also easier to weave it through, but just turn your hat inside out, tie all the strings in a singular knot so that they don't come undone, and then you can just weave this in and hide it. And I'll show you on my other hat how it turned out. But that's how to add a rubber band